guys, DM Philosopher here, match the name. Just going to go over my latest pack here. So what we've got is we've got the Underdark Tunnels Part 5. I think this will be the last one that I do for the Underdark Tunnels series. Might break into some chambers and some interesting geography next up. But anyway, so we've got the Underdark Tunnels Part 5. Let's jump in there and have a look at what this looks like. Okay, so this is the map. This is the dark gridded map. And I've done it as one long corridor, but I'm quite conscious of the fact that these are large maps, so you could definitely use this in multiple ways. Anyway, let's just jump in and have a look at the other versions of the map. So this is the dark gridded map. We've got the dark gridless map, and then we've got the light gridded map. Now this sort of better shows you, for especially on YouTube, because the clarity isn't there on YouTube, how large this map is. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, you can see that the detail is maintained. So you might find that the characters are walking down said tunnel, and then there's an encounter here. So you know, we're talking a good 100 feet of distance just within this little bit of the map. So any characters with very long dark vision, you know, this would suit that encounter sort of length. And then the whole encounter would be resolved probably just within this one corridor. So you then might later on have the characters encounter something as they head around a bend in the tunnel, and so they can sneak up and something like that. And then later on, this sort of middle tunnel here it's a lot tighter quarters. These rock formations go from top to bottom, so you'll find narrow pinch points and something like that. So it makes for a bit more of a challenging encounter. But again, you know, you'll find that the characters you know, have an encounter in this space, and it gets resolved within a short space. So you then might have another one down here and so on. So this represents a variety of tunnels that your characters could use. I can't really envision a one massive encounter that would use the entire map, unless it was a very long running fight or something like that. But again, there's multiple challenges within this map, whether it's pinch points or boulders for high ground and the like, or just a straight corridor which has a very long encounter distance, or as long as you can see in the dark. So drow with bows, you know, will be taking nice long pot shots over that distance, but there is cover points for sneaking, rogue work and something like that. Whereas this tunnel is quite similar to this one, just it's got a lot of bends and so on like that in it, so it sort of disadvantages long dark vision as such. So if you want to present drow as a challenge, but the party's somewhat underpowered for it, then throw it into this corridor here, because it will undo some of the advantage of drow's dark vision. Anyway, so that is the light gridded version. That's the light gridless version. The gridless versions are good for VTT work, because then you can establish your own grid spacing. So where this corridor was previously 70 odd squares long, which works out to be 350 odd feet. If you made the grid smaller even, then that could suddenly be 400 feet, 500 feet. And if you made it larger, then you know, you've got more detail there. It won't be as wide a tunnel, but you'll find that the distances sort of close up. So you might make that tunnel only 100 feet altogether, and yeah, so that gives you a lot of variety when you're using VTT work. Now, all of my packs come with point of view shots, so these are the dark ones that I'll show you first, and then you'll see the light ones. Now, the light ones are identical, just with a much lighter setting, so you can see the detail where this one's got shadows. The light one doesn't have so much in the way of shadows. But here it's quite easy. We just work our way along the straight tunnel first, and then we head to the curve that leads into the tight quarters tunnel, and you can see it tightens up quite a lot, and you know, definitely provides a bit more of a challenge and multiple sort of avenues, and you know, can create distance between characters as they sort of pursue enemies off in a branch. But definitely keeps it a little bit more interesting. And then we go around the corner, and we're now into the curvy sort of tunnel with boulders and something like that. But the boulders can be used as high ground or something like that, or cover for sneaking and the like. And so it sort of works its way along there. And here we've got the light version. So this is that was the oblique version part. We're heading down the straight corridor. Just kind of going from one side to the next. And then we head into the first corner, the tight tunnels next up, and then we head into the curved tunnel with boulders and the like through it. So that is the Underdark Tunnels Part 5. It will be the last one in my series unless there's a particular demand for more. So I hope that this enriches your gameplay. I hope that your characters are heading towards the Underdark, heading towards the Drow City, and that's not easy, it's not short, so they're going to head through a number of tunnels. Now this map can be used as a standalone, or it can be used in conjunction with my previous 4 Underdark Tunnels maps, and the previous 4 are more geared towards tunnels with chambers off the sides of those tunnels. So between those 5 maps, you pretty much will have everything that you might need to cover Underdark travel. So that is the Underdark Tunnels. You can find that on RPG Now, and I'll post a link to that underneath my YouTube clip as per usual. So I hope that enriches your gameplay, and thanks for listening. Happy gaming, people.